Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to video number 5. Yesterday, I went through some of the cosmological arguments for the existence of God. And today I kind of wanted to continue that discussion. And one place where these arguments are expressed well is in Aquinas' Summa Theologiae. He has what he calls there the Quinque Viae, which is basically a listing of 5 ways to argue for the existence of God. And last time I had ended by mentioning the argument from motion and the argument from cause and effect. And both of these, and in fact, I believe all 5 of Aquinas' arguments, he borrows from the ancient Greeks, and in particular Aristotle. And the argument from motion and the argument from cause and effect, I think they make sense intuitively. If an object is in motion, it was set in motion by something else. This is what our examination of the physical world shows us. If something exists, it was caused to exist. It is the effect of a particular cause. And when you examine these things, you can follow a chain backward. And in both instances, Aquinas will talk about how ultimately, because this cannot go backward into infinity, there must be an uncaused cause. There must be an unmoved mover. And his language in there at the end of this argument is, and this all men speak of as God, and this all men call God. An unmoved mover, an uncaused cause. And I think intuitively we see that this is the case. There must be a first cause. There must be an unmoved mover. And this all men call God. Yes, but what sort of God do these arguments give us? The fact of the matter is that they do give us a being who is the source of being, who is the creator, the first mover. And this fits well with, say, the Big Bang Theory and what astrophysicists tell us about the universe, that it has a beginning. Ironically, the Big Bang Theory was first posited by an astrophysicist who was also a Belgian priest. That's an interesting side piece of information. But what I wanted to say is that these arguments do not necessarily give us the Christian God, the Judeo-Christian God. They do not give us a good God. They are consistent with Enlightenment deism, for example, that posits that there is a source of being that set all things in motion and basically leaves us alone. The deists' God is sometimes called the watchmaker God, because old watches, of course, you had to wind them up, and once they were wound up, they just ticked until they ran out of power. Similarly, I believe astrophysicists say that the energy in the universe, similarly through entropy, ultimately this expansion outward that's described in the Big Bang will stop, kind of like a watchmaker God who winds the universe like a clock. This is not the Christian God. This God is not necessarily good or bad. He is simply the maker, the beginner, right? There is another of Aquinas' arguments, though, which it has to do with gradation. And according to this notion, the fact that we observe things in the world that have certain qualities implies that there must be that quality in its perfection. For example, if you observe goodness in the world, then there must be a source of that goodness who is himself goodness. If you see truth, beauty, all these things, in fact, have a source who is the perfection of these things. This God, I believe, would be the Christian God. I find this argument quite compelling. And I'll have to talk more about it next time because I'm at 5 minutes already. God bless everybody. I'll be back at it tomorrow.